Astrology news, October 26, 2020 until November 2nd, 2020. A few things to be mindful of before we get into the week's reading is there's a lot of activity happening in Capricorn, and I'm sure a lot of the other astrologers are following this too. To begin, in Capricorn, we have three major planets. We have Jupiter, the planet of abundance. We have Saturn, the planet of the teacher planet. And then we have Pluto, who is kind of, I always see Pluto as someone who, when he comes in, he's someone like he really gets you to focus on what lessons we need to learn. So there's three major planets in Capricorn. And Capricorn is all about status, it's about the status quo, it's about growing, achievement, and ambition. So what's happening right now is we're in a very interesting time, and I'm sure a lot of you are feeling it, that to have these planets in Capricorn are wonderful for growth. They're wonderful for a way to do the work, to step into your power, to make your dreams come true. It's a very powerful alignment for business and opportunities and ambition. It's wonderful. With this square between Mars, Jupiter, and Pluto, though traditionally what a square between planets means is challenging. It means that the energy is not flowing. It's not a natural position between planets. However, over the years, I've come to understand it more as whenever we go through a square between planets, especially between our natal planets and the current planets, it's a deep lesson. There's something bigger going on. There's something to help us to grow, to help us see our power, etc. Now, with the square between a retrograding Mars and Jupiter and Pluto, it's an opportunity here for everyone to kind of take a step back. And the step back is because Mars is retrograding. Mars is the planet of action, the planet of let's get things done, let's get going. But he's retrograding right now, so he's sort of taking a step back and just looking at the picture. Now, that's influencing Jupiter, the planet of growth. The retrograding Mars may cause any plans Jupiter wanted to create maybe doesn't quite go as smoothly as Jupiter would like. However, it's one of those things that those little bumps or those little delays or maybe redirection turns out to be the best thing ever. Now, Pluto, I've always thought of Pluto as a planet, a teacher, where when he comes in, he's someone that he gets us to really focus on the task at hand. I find out of all the planets, and I know out there that Pluto has been demoted as a planet, but in astrology we still watch the influence. And with Pluto, what I've noticed is that when Pluto's in there, especially with a square or a trine, what happens is Pluto really gets us to focus and do the work properly. He's kind of like the guy that's over our shoulder, like, okay, no, make sure you do it right, keep it going. So it can be a little bit intense, but in the long run, it's something really positive. And with this square, everyone may notice like this stop and go kind of energy, which we spoke a bit about last week. That's the Mars retrograde in Aries. So with the stop and go, if you feel frustrated or you feel things aren't flowing the way that you would want, just kind of take a moment and look, okay, what am I learning here? Is there something that the planets are trying to teach me or get me to see something outside? So that's the first part. Now, the next part that's much more positive and flowing, we have this beautiful triangle with the planets that are in Capricorn. In Capricorn, we have Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto. In Taurus, we have Uranus. And in Virgo, we have Venus. So this is creating a very beautiful triangle. It's a flow of energy. So for growth and everything, there's some seeds being planted right now that will make sense later, and it's going to open up the energy much, much later. So this is a time of like a garden. Things are growing. It's just we planted the seeds. It just needs a wee bit of time. Now what we'll do is we'll go through a breakdown for a day by day for the next week. So on October 26th, the moon is in Pisces, and this is a waxing moon. So before we get into it, I just want to kind of explain the difference between a waxing and waning moon. So a waxing moon means that the moon is growing brighter. So it's the moon between the new moon, when the moon is dark, to the full moon. And a waxing moon is a time of growth, illumination, and higher sense. So this is a waxing Pisces moon. So the biggest ones going to affect, of course, are those with the sun in Pisces. And for everyone else, it's going to be a time of illumination. So Pisces is known for spiritual, intuitive, going deep, a lot of music. So this is a time to grow those energies. Those who have Pisces or who are Pisces, whether it's a Pisces sun or Pisces moon, this is a time that you may be doing some really deep soul work. It's a week where you may be looking at, okay, what do I want? Where do I want to grow? Now, the two zodiac signs that might find the next couple of days a little bit challenging will be Gemini and Sagittarius, because Sagittarius and Gemini square Pisces. And for Gemini and Sagittarius, my recommendation is just take more time for yourself and to know it's okay to create that space. On October 27th, you may notice that the energy with the Mercury retrograde in Scorpio, it's really going to help the moon in Pisces. You're going to feel more clarity, more creative energy. Art may be very important. It's just a very beautiful musical day. On October 28th, the moon changes into Aries around noontime. And this is again a waxing Aries moon. So those who are Aries or those with an Aries moon, it's a time of growth. It's a time of ideas. It's a time of inspiration. It's also too a time of really having the courage to gather knowledge. It's a time to plant seeds. Now, Aries is the beginning of the zodiac. So whenever we have a waxing moon in Aries, often we'll see others be inspired. It could be an idea for a new career, new business, just a lot of inspiration. The two zodiac signs that may find it a little bit loud will be the Cancer and Capricorn. So Aries squares Cancer and Capricorns. So my recommendation for those two is to focus on, especially with Capricorn, I would focus on writing and planning. So if you get some news that might be a little bit frustrating, or you're like, whoa, where is that coming from? It's just a time to take a step back. Same thing, like look deeper, just see what do you need to do, where do you need to grow. It's also a really good time to look into maybe tarot or angel cards, stuff like that, like just to do some deep work. The other note on October 28th is Mercury, which is retrograding, goes into Libra. So the intensity of the Scorpio will be complete with the retrograde. So a lot of those who may be finding this Mercury retrograde a little bit louder than normal, you'll feel the energy kind of release from your shoulders. So that energy will help. On October 29th, the moon's still in Pisces, and Venus goes into Libra. So the next, between October 27th and October 28th, everyone should feel the energy like just sort of like a bit of a breather. It's still intense, but it's a little bit of a breather because it's Libra's coming in, and Libra's all about balancing. It's about being very gentle, very kind. So the energy is going to be much more easier. Where Venus is coming out of Virgo is a very hard-working zodiac. Like they want to get in there, get it done. So that intensity that you've been dealing with, both the Scorpio Mercury retrograde and then Venus in Virgo, will clear. On October 30th, we're really going to start noticing the energies easing a bit more for everybody. So October 30th, my recommendation is just to rest, recharge. I always call them veg days, where order a pizza, watch Netflix, just something to rest. That would be really good. Now the big day of next week is the 31st. Now there's a lot happening. So one is it's Samhain or Halloween, and Halloween is for energy news. It's when the veil between worlds are very thin, so the energy is very heightened to begin. So with spirit world, with energy, it's very, very heightened. So on top of that, we have a full moon in Taurus. Now traditionally, a full moon in Taurus is very grounding. It's very home-based, very like this is where we want to grow. And one thing with a moon in Taurus is they don't like to rock the boat too much. They don't like to the moon in Taurus is very, very comfortable, doesn't like a lot of changes and that. However, Uranus is in Taurus. So what's going to happen on October 31st and November 1st is there's a conjunction. So a conjunction is when planets are lined up. So, and the way I've always thought of a conjunction is it's sort of like a beam, a concentration of that energy between those planets. So with the conjunction between the full moon in Taurus and Uranus, it's going to be an energy of breakthrough. So around that time, and I think this is going to be more global, it could be personal, but I think it's going to be more global, where anything that has been stuck or anything that needs to be healed, there's sort of this energy between the moon and Uranus is going to create a catalyst, like, okay, we need to deal with this. It's an energy of great opportunity for healing. It's an opportunity here to deepen our abilities, especially as family and community, and to hear one another. So there's a lot of opportunity here. Whatever happens the next few days is an opportunity for healing and to hear one another, so deeper communication. The other part too on this day, now the two zodiac signs that might find this energy a little bit louder will be Aquarius and Leo. So for Aquarius and Leo, I expect for you to kind of go into an energy where you might get news that might be a little bit frustrating, but it's one of those things, let it play out, see where it takes you, but it's important to be very focused and grounded the next few days, and it's something to get you to whatever energy you're releasing or clearing, it's to get you into a much better frequency, especially towards 2021. November 1st, so the 31st, October 31st is when the energy is going to be really loud, and then with this conjunction between the full moon and Uranus. And then on November 1st, it's like we could actually really feel the energy ease. So we're actually going to start feeling the Mercury direct effect. Now, one thing I've noticed is that 3 days before Mercury goes direct, we can start feeling the positive energy before it actually goes direct. So one thing you'll notice is that if there was any miscommunication, that energy is becoming more gentle. Usually we see kind of like a truce or a peacemaking. Technology is much better, but we're starting to see the energy ease than what it was in the middle of Mercury retrograde. And then by November 2nd, the moon goes into Gemini. So Gemini, and this is now a waning moon. So now the difference between the waning moon and the waxing moon is about the light is getting stronger. The waning moon is that the light is returning, so the moon is going dark again. And the waning moon is between the full moon and the new moon. If you are a Gemini, what that means is this is a time for releasing, it's a time to let go of stress, it's a time to clear any unnecessary energy. So for Geminis, you will feel the energy that you want to clean, to organize. Often it has to do with home. It could be a time where you might even think about a move. You might think about a relocation, or even renovating the house or rearranging the furniture. Geminis especially, I would recommend look into feng shui. I think that would be very positive. Now the two zodiac signs that might find this day a little bit louder are actually going to be Pisces and Virgo, because these are the squares to Gemini. So for Pisces and Virgo, my recommendation is to stay closer to home, just to rest, and when communicating, focus on slowing down to make sure that you're hearing everyone, because with the moon in Gemini, sometimes for Pisces and Virgo, it's hard to hear. So it's important to slow down the conversation and just to make sure everyone hears one another. Now for the week ahead per zodiac, Aries, this is a time to get organized, to really focus on career. Where do you want to go? There may be some very positive career change coming to you. Taurus, this is all about business. It's about planning, organizing, and getting ready for the next business chapter. Gemini, this is a time to focus on home. It's a time to reorganize and to focus on what is home to you. Cancer, this is a very beautiful time for you. This is a week of creativity, art, music, anything like that would be very powerful. Leo, this is a time just to focus on home, to connect with family, and to focus on laughter. Virgo, this is a hard-working week, and it's also towards the weekend. It's going to be a beautiful time to rest, to recharge, maybe call some friends. It's about reconnecting. Libra, this is a beautiful time for business. It's a time for creativity, and it's a beautiful time for love. Scorpio, this is a time to make sure that you're being heard and that you're hearing others. It's a very strong energy regarding communication. And Scorpio, this is a time to write and to connect with your creative self. Sagittarius, this is a time to look at ancestors. The guardians are showing an energy where it's time to maybe look at the family tree to get knowledge that way, and to reach out to family members to check in on them. Capricorn, this is a week to play, to connect with your mother, and to focus on connecting with family and home. Aquarius, this is the time to rest and recharge. And it's a time to focus on what is going right, what is being very positive. The guardians are really focusing on Aquarius to recognize how far you've come along. There's this energy to recognize your power, because Aquarius especially, there's a lot happening with Aquarius, which we'll get into next week. This is a very transformative year for you. It's a year where you're going to step into your power. So this week is about recognizing how far you've come along. Pisces, this is all about love, romance, soulmate connections, and music. Keep an eye on your dreams. A lot of soulmate dreams coming to you. Thank you everyone for checking this out.